Right now at noon, tracking the tropics as we start to feel the effects of a system that could bring significant flooding to South Florida this weekend.
And here's a look at the storm's possible path. A tropical storm warning has been issued for all of South Florida as a result. So let's start our coverage with Weather Authority meteorologist Brandon Orr. Brandon, what can you tell us about this system?
Well, I'm going to start right with this 11 a.m. advisory that we have. Now, this is still not a tropical storm just yet, but it is producing tropical storm force winds. Maximum sustained winds are at 40 miles per hour. It is not organized enough yet to be called a tropical storm. And when it does, it would be called Tropical Storm Alex. That's why we're saying a potential tropical cyclone #1. The cone does kind of focus to the north of our area, but this is very important. Do not focus on exactly where the cone goes because it's to our north, going closer to Fort Myers. Most of the impacts will be felt away from the center of the storm on the south side, which does cover all of South Florida. And that's why our entire area is covered in a tropical storm warning, because we're going to feel tropical storm conditions as early as later on tonight. The winds are already starting to pick up a little bit in parts of the Keys. This is why it is not a tropical storm just yet. Here's the center of the storm. All of the thunderstorms are being blown to one side. It's a very lopsided storm, which means it's very disorganized. But when hurricane hunters fly through this, and they have been, this is where their plane is right now. They're trying to see what the winds are like within these thunderstorms. But it did make a pass through the center and found, when I looked at the data, multiple circulations. Not one closed circulation. Until it gets just one that's very well defined, it will not become a tropical storm. I think eventually we'll get organized enough to get one circulation. It could become Tropical Storm Alex. But until then, it's just a tropical disturbance. But we do expect the conditions, whether or not it's named, to be the same. It's kind of a formality if it does get a name. We're not changing the impacts here to South Florida. Those are staying pretty consistent. Already have some heavy rain moving through South Florida. This is the heavy band that has already pushed through Miami-Dade. It's now moving into Broward. In fact, it's moving through downtown Fort Lauderdale right along 595 right now. The winds aren't the big story in this. I'm seeing some wind gusts. There's one right there. Seems to be Port Everglades, gusting to about 30 miles per hour. It's going to be the flooding because the ground is already saturated. That's not good going into a storm system like this. So we already have a couple of flood advisories, two of many that will be issued over the next 48 hours. These go out until 1:45 to 2 o'clock and cover a good chunk of Broward and Miami-Dade. Down to the Keys, rain's not as heavy, but the winds are a little bit stronger, getting some wind gusts, 31 miles per hour. There's 39 miles per hour in Key West. So already gusting close to 40 down there. But the main headline with this and the main impact will be the heavy rain. Still expecting 4 to 8 inches, but there's going to be some neighborhoods that pick up to 15 inches of rain. That could cause some very significant flash flooding across South Florida, especially late tonight into tomorrow. If your home or business is very prone to flooding during heavy rain events like this, I would have whatever preparations you need, whether that's sandbagging or not, to be done, I would say, over the course of this afternoon, especially by the time we get to around sunset. That's when we'll see some of the heaviest rain push through. So here's 5 o'clock. Heavy rain is already down into the Keys and only progresses to the north. This is by 9. We're starting to pick things up a little bit. You can see the wind gusts coming up as well. We'll also have to watch out tonight into tomorrow morning for some strong thunderstorms, including the potential for a couple of tornadoes or water spouts that turn into tornadoes as they hit the coastline. Typically, they're not very strong tornadoes in a tropical system, but nonetheless, those can do some damage. So we'll be on throughout the night, and we'll definitely let you know. Stick with us as this storm moves through. I think we'll slowly start to get things to break up about midday tomorrow, but still looking at some heavy downpours coming up. We're going to talk about how long these rain bands and the flooding threat will last into the weekend. We got a lot more stuff to take a closer look at. We'll kind of take it city by city, too. Lots more to cover coming up.
All right, Brandon, thank you. And we'll, of course, have the latest on the tropics with hurricane specialist and storm surge expert Michael Lowry and our chief certified meteorologist, Betty Davis, starting on Local 10 News at 4 o'clock.